I think many people around the world that are of African descent look at Black Americans specifically and think that we have it all. And I get it. I mean, you look at the Michael Jacksons of this world, or the Beyoncés, or the LeBron Jameses, the Williams sisters, the Ryan Cooglers, and it's very easy to see those people like they have it all. But success and visibility don't equate to freedom. Even though we as the Black population of the Americas have done so many things and made incredible leaps and bounds in our freedom journey, all of that still doesn't take away the fact that we have on golden handcuffs. And this is what I want to talk about today. If you're new here, karibu, a big Swahili welcome to you. My name is Yahaida, and this channel is about building a regenerative way of living. I share my journey as a birth worker, educator, filmmaker, and future homesteader building what I call kin and soil. So, to be fair, we have made incredible leaps and bounds considering the conditions that we came from. Like, I never want to speak about our people as if we're powerless, because we're not. African Americans in particular have transformed global culture in ways that honestly still don't get fully recognized. But two things can be true at the same time. You can be visible and still not be free. You can be successful and still be spiritually exhausted. You can have access to resources and still feel trapped. And I think that's the part that a lot of people don't fully understand about life in the Americas, especially in the United States. There may be more economic opportunities here compared to certain parts of the world, yes. The American passport carries power, yes. There are conveniences here, yes. But at what cost? Because many people here in the States are surviving, not living. Black Americans, for the most part, are working constantly and still barely making ends meet. People are disconnected from the land, from community, from their bodies, from rest, from imagination. And the food here, my God, it's nutrient depleted. And the air feels heavy from all of the stuff that they spray in the sky. I can tell you firsthand that that's not freedom. It's almost like the problems compound on top of each other. Like, yes, people may make more money here on paper, but the cost of simply existing is astronomical. Like, okay, cool. You may make a higher salary, but if a single mango costs $5, or if rent is eating half of your paycheck, or if healthcare is expensive, and you will be needing healthcare once you eat the food here, okay? If childcare is expensive, or if education puts people into debt for decades, like, what exactly are we measuring when we talk about success? That's the part I think people outside the US sometimes don't fully see. And please hear me good when I say this. Escúchame bien, please. Your environment affects you more than you're tapped into. The saying is true. Bad company corrupts good character. And this environment will always be a detriment to your nervous system, because the foundation of this country is rooted on the blood that was shed by African and indigenous peoples. So there's nothing good that comes after that, okay? Then the US government have the nerve to talk about 250 years like we made it. Like, no, no, we haven't made it. And please, this is an appeal to Iran and all the rest of the nations. Like, please understand, Black people don't have nothing to do with what this country does, their nefarious ways. Like, prisoners of war don't get a say so in what this government does, okay? And I'm not talking about all Black people, because we do have coons like Clarence Thomas and like General Langley. Okay, I'm not talking about them. But just so you know, the USA, it's USA Incorporated, okay? America is a company, and they've been exhibiting bad business practices since inception. So you've been forewarned, okay? I want to be careful here, though, because this is not me saying immigrants should not come to America, or that people shouldn't pursue opportunity where they feel called to. That's not my position at all. But my hope is that after you listen to this, you understand that America is not an easy place to live, let alone survive, okay? So I will continue to say this, like our ancestors were not confused about their identity as prisoners of war. Like just because time has gone by, or just because we've been able to move into different neighborhoods, or just because we may have like corner offices with like big high level type of jobs, or like just because you can go into a store and purchase whatever you want, like that doesn't mean that we have freedom here in America. And to be honest, like I'm actually thankful for El Payaso in the White House, because he's actually showing Black people exactly where we stand in this country. And, I know some of y'all think that he's only going after a certain group of people right now, but look at what's going on with the Voting Rights Act and the 14th Amendment. Like these things, especially the 14th Amendment, like they were created out of the aftermath of slavery to establish citizenship for formerly enslaved Africans in this country. This is very alarming. And this is something that Black Americans need to be sitting with very seriously. Like, let's be clear, like a few Black billionaires or athletes don't erase the historical reality of how fragile civil rights has been in this country. America has a long history of shifting the boundaries of who's considered fully deserving of protection or humanity. And if history teaches us anything, it's that we need to stay ready so we don't got to get ready. Which leads me to my next point, and really the reason why I started building Kin and Soil in the first place. Like, what I'm building is not another nonprofit. It's not a brand. What I'm really building is my imagination, or maybe rebuilding it, because like the greatest violence against humanity is colonialism and hypercapitalism. These systems that attack the human imagination first. These systems that teach us, especially our children, that reality is fixed. That the world can only exist as it currently exists. Like, man, somewhere along the way, we lost the recipes to healthier communities and slower lives, and to food sovereignty, to birth being sacred, to like environmental stewardship. Somewhere along the way, we stopped imagining freedom beyond survival. And I reject that wholeheartedly. Like, I nullify all of those fraudulent contracts in the enemy's camp that were impersonating me, because I did not sign up for that. I believe every child deserves the right to imagine new realities and have the tools to help create them. Like if you really think about it, every system that we live under right now was once somebody's imagination first. So if I want a different outcome, I need to be brave enough to imagine differently again. Back in the day when I was growing up in the 1900s, like I really thought this was it. Like this had to stay this way. I even thought that getting university degrees would free me. And to some degree they did, like, because I have the language to communicate my ideas now. And that is partially because of the professors and the mentors that I had in various institutions. But I know now, like, even education is not the end all be all. I thought I was really doing something when I was telling people to homeschool their children. But really, to be honest, that's only the first awakening. The truth is everything should be done at home. Like, we should birth our children at home. We should teach our children at home and in their local community. We should transition to the next stage of life at home, buried at home, honored at home. Like, you get the picture. This paradigm shift was really birthed in me through years of hitting my head against the wall in my classroom, trying to figure out what's the right answer. And imagine me, like, I found some understanding in the SDA principles of all places. Ellen G. White was the founder of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and she said a long time ago that we should get out of the cities and raise our children in rural areas. And you see great examples of this in the Caribbean and in Latin America and on the continent of Africa. Like all the places where my people are from, I always knew intrinsically I didn't want to raise a family in a big city, but it really took the planning for that to really start clicking for me. And it was also learning about elimu ya kujitegemea, or what they call education for self-reliance in Tanzania, during my research of the documentary. So just to give another rundown, Education for Self-Reliance says that schools should be raising the funds that they need through the value chain of agriculture. The students, the staff, and the teachers, they keep a school garden and they go to sell the raw or manufactured goods in the market. And all the proceeds of the sales go back into the school and the community at large. Man, filming that documentary really saved me, because I finally had a framework for some of these ideas that have been floating around in my head for so long. Like, although I recognize these ideas to not be anything new, for whatever reason, I had to go down that path to see this model as something that I could personally attain. So, in the whirlwind of the excitement of learning something new, after I debuted my film, I started the process to develop a digital homeschool collective. And I want to set the record straight on that for a minute. Although there is a power in digital spaces, I don't personally believe that the best way for a child to learn is virtually. You know, people ask me all the time as an educator, what do I think about AI in the classroom, or robots standing in to be teachers? From my lived experience personally, I don't see it as a way for children to learn well. To be honest, I see it more as a way to put cogs in the wheels of capitalism, you know? Technology has its place, but I don't think that place is in the learning process. Like, there's only two senses that can be utilized in virtual learning, which is sight and sound. But in a physical classroom with an actual human being, all the senses are able to be pulled on for children to better retain whatever they're learning. So I know that's a side note, but I wanted to speak to that because although I feel like I failed in that campaign, I wanted to talk about it here because that process, that failure, that lesson helped inform my framework now. So I may do a full video on it later in the future. Anyway, what I know to be true now is that environmental stewardship is what will free us, okay? Everyone has to eat and drink clean water on a daily basis, okay? Unless maybe you're a demonic vampire PDF. I'm not talking about those entities. I'm talking about us, the humans. Like, we eat and drink water on a daily basis. So that's what we should be spending our time cultivating. Like, in my mind, it's 1 + 1 = 2. And the Black Panthers already taught us, like back in the 60s and 70s, that if your stomach is growling, it's going to be very hard to learn. So my educational philosophy is simple. Feed the nations, teach the babies, and stay naturally human. And I've been doing some things recently that are giving me more opportunities outside of the traditional classroom. And it feels so much more aligned to who I am and where I want to go. Because to be honest, like, education really starts in the womb, and how we nurture our bodies even before we conceive a child. Like, that's knowledge that was once common to us, and somewhere along the way we lost it. My work with Kin and Soil is to nurture our connection to that ancestral wisdom. So please stay tuned. Anyway, that's enough of my soliloquy for today. If you found value in anything I said, please click that subscription, because in the next video, I'll go into more detail on why I believe modern day education systems are outdated. As always, go and touch some grass with your people and keep the vibes high. Sending love to all benevolent beings. Amani na upendo.